in labor setup, you can set up the per diem, and also in the crew setup, you can set up the non-productive time, and that's what we're going to discuss today. And first of all, we're going to go look at per diem and how you can put per diem costs into your estimate. And these would be daily charges. These would be charges for travel time, maybe with hotel, maybe gas, whatever that you give to your employees. And in the setup labor, in the other column, in the other tab, there is a column for per diem. And you notice that each craft can have its own per diem rate, and this is a rate per day. So obviously for every shift that this craft has, they will be paid that $25 or whatever it is, $50 from an operator in this case. And then you can also have, of course, zero for the crafts that don't get per diem. So let's go see how that works in the estimate. I'm going to go out to my tree view. I'm going to go to, for example, my operators. Here's an operator. I'm going to right click, show calculation, and then go to my burden. And you notice here that I have a per diem. So what it's doing is taking the total hours that this employee works divided by 10 to come up with the number of days, and then it multiplies that by $50 a day. So obviously there would be a fraction involved there for a fraction of days, but remember this is an estimate. So here for this operator, for this activity, I have a total of 403 days. And of course you can get a per diem report that will tell you the total amount of dollars that you have used in this estimate for per diem. Now the other type of costs that you might have is the costs due to unproductive time. For instance, like travel time, either by your trucks or by, if a marine situation, by your boats. So you want to put these into the crew setup. And here's an example where I've set up for drainage crew, and I have an hour adjustment. And for each, what you have to do though, I have in this example 2 hours for each piece. So for the foreman, I have 2, but for the general labor, I have to have 8 because I have 4 of them. So I have to have 2 for each of them, so that gives me 8 hours, and then 2 for the operator, and then 2 for the paver operator. So once I have that in place, if I go back to my example in the tree view, and you can see here in this, I have 67.2 hours, but then for my labor foreman, for example, I have 80.64. So what that's saying is for 6.7 shifts, it's giving me an additional 2 hours every shift, and that's what gives me my 80 hours instead of my 67.2. Same thing for my general labor. If I come over here and I look, I got 322. That's obviously a lot more hours than I need, but they're picking up the additional 2 hours. I can also set this in the modify crew. If you want to just do it for an activity, I can also customize this just for this activity. But most people, when they're doing non-productive time, they would do it for the entire estimate, and then they would do that in the crew setup. So using both of these methods, the per diem and the non-productive time, you can get accurate costs in your estimate.